I see pedestrians nearly knocked off their feet. I see elderly women nearly knocked off their feet every day by these e-scooter killing machines. So I'm not someone who likes to just ban things, but our infrastructure, our transport infrastructure is not ready for them.
You're quite talking as an elderly woman, thanks, Dan, who was nearly knocked over by one of these things the other day. I think they're lethal. I mean, this bloke, huge, one of these huge, it was built like a tank, this thing he was on. He was going really fast on a shared-use pathway, and it's in East London, so they're allowed to do that because we're one of the trial boroughs.
But they don't care if they're allowed or not, by the way.
No.
They don't care.
Had earphones on and was came up right behind us like that. And if we hadn't jumped out of the way, if we had been elderly or a little kid, would have been in all sorts of trouble. You get hit behind from one of those things, they are lethal. And did you know that the top speed, I mean, on average, they're meant to go 15 miles an hour, but you can actually buy one that goes 75 miles an hour.
It's terrifying.
I mean, that is just
It's terrifying.
insane.
And Rebecca Reed, the people who ride these killing machines do not respect the rules. So they zip off the road onto the pavement. And honestly, the other day, I was this close to being knocked down by one of these killing machines.
Because I think killing machine is quite a strong way of putting it.
But they have kind of killed people.
But killing, they've not killed more people than they have killed. Like, most of the time it is fine. Okay, so they account for 3% of road accidents at the moment. Now, admittedly, there are a lot more cars and a lot more bicycles than there are e-scooters.
Yes, and it's increasing, Rebecca, by the week.
The issue is that it is
There's an illegal one. Look, just zipping down the footpath doesn't give a damn. They do not respect the rules.
The issue is that it's way too easy to get hold of one. That you should have to have a full provisional licence to be able to get one at all, which means you would have to be a minimum of 17 years old. So this 14-year-old girl shouldn't have been on a scooter in the first place. It should not have been possible for her to rent one. And that is the problem. And I think you should be able to have to hold a full... As somebody who doesn't have a full driving licence, I think you should have to have a full driving licence.
I agree. Well, Calvin Robinson, here's the issue. You know, we don't let motorbikes zip down the footpath. Yet, for some reason, as a society, we've just accepted, OK, it's fine. These e-scooters that can go up to 75 miles per hour can just zoom down the footpaths now. I mean, I'm nearly knocked every day by one of these mad cyclists, but now it's e-scooters you have to navigate as a pedestrian too. And I know we have people constantly campaigning on behalf of the rights of cyclists, folk like Jeremy Vine. Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to stand up for pedestrians because I walk, and actually that is the best mode of transport when it comes to being green. So I walk everywhere. And I'm nearly killed by cars, by motorcycles, by bikes, but it's actually the e-scooters that have no respect for the road rules.
Well, I don't think as civilians or pedestrians we have accepted that anyone can use these things on the pavement. There are but there are trial boroughs, and the problem here is that we haven't educated people on how to use them properly. So bicycles are just as dangerous. People zip in and out of lorries and stuff, and they're on the pavements when they shouldn't be. But what we do is we go into schools and we teach young people the highway code, and we teach them to wear a helmet, and we teach them how to ride one safely. We could do the same thing with these. I don't like the reactionary, you know, it's safetyism. It's like, these are too dangerous for you to have one. We're going to take them away. And it's ban, ban, ban. It's more conservative government.
But it's making the footpaths impossible.
But we need to make sure the footpaths are safe. We need to make sure that people riding the e-scooters are safe. But to ban them, I think would be...
OK, but Calvin, you have to accept there is zero chance of the overstretched Met policing this. They're not going to police it. So it's the Wild West. You can create any sort of rules you want around these e-scooters. They will not be policed. You can't even get a cop round to your house in London if someone's just broken in and beaten you up or stolen all of your property. So I'm sorry, the idea that these Wild West e-scooters are going to be policed, they're not.
Let's make the police do their job, and let's educate people on how to use these things safely.
And can I just defend cyclists here, speaking as one?
Cyclists are crazy, though, aren't they?
If I hit somebody on my bike, which weighs 7 kilograms, I'm really not going to kill them. Someone hitting me on one of those things going...
75 miles per hour,
Yeah,
indeed.
exactly.
Indeed, no, very good point.